A sneaky move is incoming for the New York Jets as recently, with all the talk surrounding the New York Jets drafting Tyler Warren in the first round, a bunch of other names have been listed as well for the team in a sneakier move that they could make, which could maximize value while also giving the Jets another real tight end threat outside of Jeremy Ruckert. And we're going to break all of this down. What up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. Almost said Yankees. Just checking the Yankee score. It's Chris here. And if you guys are not subscribed to Jets Digest, is it because I almost called this Yankee Digest? Let me know in the comments down below, but make sure to subscribe. We're on that grind right now. NFL draft is very close. We got a bunch of good content coming out, including this video, because the New York Jets, a sneaky move is imminent for this team. As we know, the Jets have narrowed down their draft selection. They will be picking 7th overall, barring at this point what would be a very surprising trade, either up or down, most likely down in the draft. Unless they just do pick at 7, which again is probably going to happen here. So where things stand right now, it's very interesting to see what the New York Jets could be getting up to. And there's been a lot of talk about a lot of different players. One of the key names that we've seen be mentioned is Tyler Warren, someone who many Jets fans do want to see the New York Jets take after passing on Brock Bowers last year for an offensive tackle. Now the Jets want to see the opposite happen. They want to see a lot of Jets fans, not everyone, but a lot of Jets fans want to see the opposite. They want to see the New York Jets take a tight end and pass on an offensive tackle in Armand Membo, who is the favorite for the New York Jets to draft right now. Now, again, I do think and want the New York Jets to draft Armand Membo, but I've said this before, no part of me is going to be upset if they draft Tyler Warren. I understand the reasoning on drafting Tyler Warren. Is picking a tight end in the top 10 usually a luxury pick? Yeah, it's making a selection that maybe necessarily you just had the ability that you didn't have to cover a massive team need. But the Jets do have to cover a massive team need. In fact, they need a few, and one of them is tight end. We're not going to sit here and act like the Jets tight end room is anything super special right now. Their tight end one is Jeremy Ruckert, who has not performed in the NFL over his first 3 years here. Now with Justin Fields, his quarterback in college, there is a lot of hope that the Jets can turn things around with Jeremy Ruckert. It's one of the reasons why Darren Mougey's been lax about bringing in tight ends. Now, yes, they did bring in Stone Smart, and we will talk about Stone Smart in a moment, but where Jeremy Ruckert stands right now, it just becomes this situation where he's just not been a tight end one up to this point in his career when the Jets hoped he would be. In his first season with the Jets, he really didn't get any play time at all. I mean, only 2 targets on the entire season. In his second season with them, he started to get a bit more. But still, again, he's never been the tight end one in his career with the Jets, whether there was the CJ Uzomah and Tyler Conklin's of the world, or one of those two was always there, basically putting Jeremy Ruckert. Recently, Conklin, who's been a good tight end one and is going to continue to be a good tight end one in his career, just not with the Jets. And where we stand now, Jeremy Ruckert is at the top of the depth chart with the tight end position. We look at him last season where he had 28 targets for 18 receptions and 105 receiving yards, which is 5.8 yards per reception. He had 4 or 6 first downs. Also, never scored a touchdown in his NFL career. So far, he hasn't really proven a lot to say that he could be a tight end one. But where things stand right now, he certainly is listed at it for the Jets, which makes things very, very interesting. Now, they also, as I mentioned, they do have Stone Smart as well, who they signed to a 208 yards last season receiving on 19 targets and 16 receptions. So he was able to pull down a lot of his targets, all but 3 of them. And in that time span, we also saw him average 13 yards per reception, which is solid. Got 11 first downs. Also, did not score a touchdown last year. So the Jets, 2 tight ends right now, combining for 0 touchdowns on last season. It is a position they need to attack. And, well, with all the talk about the Tyler Warrens of the world, there are other options for the New York Jets to draft. One of the biggest ones that we've heard about as well has been Colson Loveland. But now this man right here is another guy who has been linked to the Jets. Now, taking a look at this, it was mentioned that a lot of analysts have linked the Jets to Penn State tight end Tyler Warren in the first round. But New York could look down the board at a talented pass catcher like Harold Fannin Jr., that is, out of Bowling Green. Now, Bowling Green, obviously not a big school, but at the same time, Fannin does give the New York Jets a very high potential tight end who's a great athlete, so it is something interesting to look at. In his season last year, he was unbelievable. led the MAC conference in 117 receptions and receiving yards with 1,555. He really showcased that athleticism last year, having 10 touchdowns as well and 120 yards per game. The stats are elite. Now, yes, it's smaller school, less competition for sure, but at the same time, where things stand right now for everyone, this would be an interesting pick by the Jets, taking a chance on a guy who does show a lot of potential as a tight end for the future and also would not cost them a top 10 pick in order to take. Now, on the other hand of things, you look at Tyler Warren, and Tyler Warren would cost you a top 10 pick. Yes, he gives you a lot of great things against the best teams that the teams are going to face. He led the Big Ten in receptions. He had 1,233 yards, 8 touchdowns, 77 yards per game. Tyler Warren has been elite. He can do it all. He can rush the ball as well as we saw him get 26 rush attempts for 8.5 yards per average. So great stuff there from Tyler Warren as well. And also got 4 rushing touchdowns, which is super important because he's a do-it-all guy. He blocks really well. He does it all at a very high level. So, yeah, it becomes this interesting idea of would the Jets want to take a tight end, even though it's a lesser important position than offensive tackle, because at the end of the day, you have so much invested in your offensive line already. On top of all this, there's Colston Loveland, who last season had 58 yards per game, got 582 yards on the season, and 10 yards per reception with 56 receptions last year. He's also won a championship at college in his second season at Michigan, so there is a lot to like about Loveland as well, and he also would not cost the Jets a top 10 pick, but the Jets might have to trade back into the end of the first round to get Loveland, which makes things interesting because the other option is the Jets can just take Fannin and avoid all of this, essentially. And it becomes a matter of, would you want to do that? Would you want the Jets to take a risk on someone, which is certainly going to lead to Jeremy Ruckert still likely being the tight end one when we get into the regular season. Now, I'm fine with Jeremy Ruckert getting more opportunities. I think with Justin Fields here and him knowing Ruckert, I think there is a real world where we see Ruckert have some success this season. The way Matt explained it on a video we did about this a couple weeks back was, have you ever had an old phone that can only charge in a few different ways that you have to put at a weird angle? I currently do with this phone right now. I have to angle it sort of like this is where it charges. This is the stupidest thing ever. And I have to angle it sort of up. It's really annoying. I hate it, but at the same time, it still gets the job done. That's what you're hoping for out of Jeremy Ruckert right here. Can he get the job done with a guy in Justin Fields who made him great once before? So I do like the idea of Jeremy Ruckert getting this chance. I think it's a good idea. I think it's smart that they brought in Stone Smart as well because at the end of the day, he gives you another athletic option given he's undersized. Now the Jets could also go get Fannin Jr., and that would help them as well as they do get a guy who they could hope to build on and sort of instill this culture in. He showed that he has a lot of talent and is now on the radar. The Jets would be able to use a day 2 pick on Fannin, so it would work out well if you ask me personally. I think this is something that I would rather them do than them take Tyler Warren. I still want the Jets to take Armand Membo. That's my guy. That's who I want to see them pick. I want to see them solidify that offensive line, and I think they can find tight ends down the board like Fannin who show a ton of potential at the NFL level. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe to Jets Digest, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.